Welcome to Grown Folk Stories, y'all. Give it up for Keith B.
Okay, so last time I was here, I don't think I looked at Eric the whole time, and I ran over. Sorry about that. I'll behave. Give me a heads up. So I came to my first Grown Folk Stories because I was photographing an event. I take a lot of pictures where I go, and I want to tell a story about an album that I had at home. So back before we had kids, about 15 years ago, my wife and I have our 16th anniversary this weekend. Before we had kids, we went on a vacation in Hawaii, and we were excited because we figured we were moving, and it was like, let's just get this trip in. It'll be a big trip before us. We were planning on starting a family, and it started off great, like the flight, and then we got there, and it turned into like the Brady Bunch trip to Hawaii. For those of you who remember when they went. So day one, we're in a convertible. I forget kind of where it is on the map. I'm not wearing a hat. My head is bald. I burned the crap out of my scalp on the first day of our trip. Second day of a trip, I leave my backpack at a rest area. It's got my wallet, my camera, like everything in it. I just leave it. So day three, we're like, let's just keep this simple. We're gonna go to a volcano. But so it's in Maui. You just drive to the top. So you zigzag up the top, and you go through the clouds and everything, and you're on top. It's like 10,000 feet up. So so we're at the top of this, and it's amazing. Like, the sun, it's nice, there's trails, and you're actually looking down on the clouds. So we're taking pictures, and we have all our gear. Like, I don't really like the outdoors, but I like outdoor gear. So I've got like my trail running shoes, I've got my hiking shorts on, I've got the fleece, and I look like I hiked up the mountain, right? But I drove. So we're taking all these pictures, and it's like early afternoon. And people are like, you should do one of the trails, because you can walk down into the crater. It's not an active volcano, I should have said that up front. But you could walk down. So we're like, it's early afternoon. They said it's a 1 hour trail. It's 1 hour down, 2 hours back. So like, okay, cool. We'll be back by 4. It'll be fine. So we start hiking. And I like work out a lot, but I was lifting. I wasn't doing any cardio. My wife, on the other hand, she cut back to working out 8 times a week. So I was like, worst case, she'll save it. So we start walking down. We get to we do an hour. We get down to the bottom. We're like, this is the part we're supposed to turn around. So I take out a protein bar and some water. And my wife starts eating a snack, and she's like, I don't feel so good. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, let's just take a minute. So we take a minute. People are starting to walk back up to the top of the crater where the parking lot is. And we take a few steps, and my wife she throws up all over the place. And I'm like, well, that's not good. This is supposed to be the easy day. So like, let's just take another minute. So we start walking, and she's just like every couple of steps. I'm like, what the hell is going on? She's like, she got a headache, and she's like sitting. So we start walking up, and people are passing us at this point because they're heading on their way back up. And they're like, you need any help? We're like, no, we're in great shape. We're fine. and these people have been watching us like struggling all the way up this hill. So we walk a little bit further. Hour goes by. We're nowhere near the top. 2 hours go by. We're not even halfway to the top. And at this point, like, the sun is starting to, and people are passing, but everybody's done now. They're like, we did our walk, y'all. So this couple passes, and they're like, you need help. And at this point, we look like we just came off the battlefield. Like, I got her over my arm, and I'm like slapping her up the hill. But it's like 8,000, 9,000 feet, and I ain't been doing any cardio, so I start struggling because I'm trying to carry her. So at some point, we're both sort of hunched over, and my wife's on her knee, and people are like, you sure you don't need anything? I'm like, no, we're good. And then the sun sets, and it drops like 20, 30 degrees in, I don't know, like a half hour. It felt like instantly. And I'm still in my hiking shorts and a lightweight fleece, and it's getting cold, and the sun is setting, and then it turns into like a bad Lifetime movie. Like, my wife is like, just leave me here, I'll meet you at the top. I'm like, no, I'm not leaving you, we can do this. And she's like, no, just go, save yourself. And I'm trying to carry her up, and I'm like, at this point, like, I'm carrying her, like, we're taking like a step, and we're both collapsing. And you can't make this stuff up. So we're nowhere near the top, and this couple who had passed us, like, at this point, like 2 hours ago, who had offered us help. We were like, no, we're fine. We want any food? No, we got water. We're good. The husband just looks over the top of the crater and he's like, do you need help now? And he's looking at us in the dark, sitting there in the middle of this volcanic crater, and we're like, yeah, we could use some help. So him and his wife come down, and they were really great. They didn't lecture us. They explained to us that, altitude sickness is a problem. We're like, oh, what's that? And they're like, well, if you don't eat, we'd eaten breakfast, but it's expensive in Hawaii. We have protein bars. We skip lunch. And just did this walk. So they get to the top, and they make sure we're okay and everything. It was really great. And I don't know where they were from. I don't remember their names. But if you come over to my house, we have an album of our trip to Hawaii. There's a lot of pictures of me. There's a lot of pictures of my wife. There's a lot of pictures of us together. And it's just like this one random white couple in front of a rental car. And I have no idea who they are, and that's why they're in our album. They saved us that day. Otherwise, I'd still be in that volcano.
I don't fuck with the outdoors. We were in Mexico, like I said. I was in Mexico for my 40th, and we had to go down. First off, there was a surf competition where we were. We were in this little town called Sayulita, and there was a surf competition. And when there's surf competition, that means they're really big waves. Some of you may remember, I don't fuck with the ocean. The grandest of grand respect I give to you. And I went up, little above my shins, wave, and then that pull, I was like, nope, no. Because it'll take you in, and then it'll throw you on a rock, and I didn't want to be like, rolling up in a wheelchair like, thank you for coming to ground folks store. Not doing that. The ocean will fucking kill you if it wants to. But even walking in those hills, I'm such a city girl. I heard like on top of Ted's shoulders, like, ah! And he was like, it was a lizard. It was a lizard about 2.5. I don't care. That could be a poisonous lizard. That will end my fucking life. And to prove my point, there was this bitch at our hotel who was like, oh, this little caterpillar, ow. Took a picture of it. The most poisonous caterpillar in the world. Bitter. I'm like, that's why I'm going in the room. And Ted's like, is this where you're gonna say, the rest of my time? And look on my Facebook page or my fucking Instagram, that spider that was 37 pounds fucking hanging out like, come on, bitch. No.